Hey there, life editors! Welcome to the Life Editor Weekend virtual retreat. Thank you so much for joining me today. Oh boy, I've been waiting for this retreat for months and it's finally here. Thank you for joining me because we've got 5 hours of life editing ahead of us, and I am so thrilled and so excited to be sharing my best tips about productivity, motivation, business strategies, self-care, and much more. All right, if you are watching, whether you're watching live at the beginning of this retreat, or if you're watching the replay videos all weekend, leave a comment right now and tell me where you are watching from. So I am in my home in Los Angeles, but I would love to know where you are watching from. So go ahead and leave a comment, say hi, welcome to the retreat. So for those of you who are brand new and you're wondering, who is this lady with the Christmas tree and the flowers on her head, and what in the world is a life editor? Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Sage Grayson, and I'm a former book editor turned life coach. I help ambitious women edit their habits, routines, and mindsets to balance their happiness at work and home. I'm a life editor, and so are you. Yes, even if this is the first day you've heard about life editing, you too are a life editor, and you're going to hear all about it, and you're going to be so happy that you joined us for this event. All right, Marie France, hi! Watching from Prince Edward Island, Canada. So excited. I know, me too. I'm probably more excited than anyone else because I have been so waiting for this and so anticipating it. And I've been kind of like jittery all morning. Maybe that was the coffee, but I'm also super excited. Welcome. Thanks for being here. Anyone else who's here live or watching the replay, leave a comment. Let me know where you're watching from. All right, so let's go over some housekeeping things before we dive into the retreat. In the description for this video, and we are streaming on Facebook and YouTube right now, so wherever you're watching from, you should be able to see the description for this video. There is a link where you can download your workbook, your Life Editor Weekend Virtual Retreat workbook. So please make sure that you have downloaded your workbook. And don't worry, you didn't have to fill it out already. We're going to fill it out together during the retreat. So make sure you have your workbook. If you aren't in a place where you can download the workbook or print it right now, please make sure you have a notebook or a planner or some way to capture your ideas during the retreat. So this first session, we are going to recap your successes and challenges from 2021. And then I'm going to introduce you to the life editing process framework. And that's my framework that's infused in all of my life editing products and services and blog posts and videos. So you're going to learn all about that. So if you are brand new, you are totally in the right place. But that's not all. For this entire Life Editor Weekend virtual retreat, we are having a giveaway for every single session. Yes, so 5 giveaways for each of the 5 sessions. So I want you to here's how you enter the giveaway. For each session, I want you to like the video and then leave a comment. That's how you enter the giveaway for each session. And for this session, I am giving away one of my Life Editing for Beginners programs to anyone who likes and leaves a comment. So if you like and leave a comment, you are entered into this giveaway. So what is Life Editing for Beginners? Well, it's my flagship program, and it's really your ultimate self-development course. It's going to help you stop procrastinating. It's going to help you stick to those good habits, and it's going to help you get more done faster than you ever thought possible. So if you're interested in being entered into the giveaway to win my Life Editing for Beginners program, remember to like this session video and leave a comment to enter the giveaway. Now, it's completely okay if you are watching the replay. So if you're watching the replay over the weekend, you've got until Sunday, December 5th, 2021, Sunday, December 5th, 2021 to enter. So like the video, leave a comment, and you are entered to win the giveaway for Life Editing for Beginners. Okay, more housekeeping. Again, make sure you have a notebook or your planner. You have your Life Editor Weekend workbook, or print it out soon, or pause the video, print it out, make sure you have a copy of it. And I want you to close any notifications that you might have on your phone, close any open tabs that you might have. If you have an office, maybe close the door or put a sign on there for your kids like, do not disturb Bobby. I am life editing right now. And do whatever you can to get rid of the distractions, because I really want you to treat this retreat as a sacred space where you are here to learn, you are here to grow, and you are here to become your best self. We're going to turn the page and start the next chapter of your life editing journey. And I want to make sure that you are totally devoting yourself to the Life Editor Weekend Retreat right now. All right, so close all the distractions, close all the notifications, and we are going to concentrate and have a really great time during this retreat. All right, and remember, these videos are going to be up all weekend long. So if you need more time to journal or to answer any of the prompts that we're going over or to just digest the information, you can totally watch the videos later, pause, write in your workbook, write in your journal, do what you got to do, and come back to them when you're ready. All right. So I like to start off these retreats and start off my live events kind of in the same way, because I want to make sure we're in the right headspace about why we're here and what we're doing during this retreat. What does it mean to retreat? What does it mean to retreat? Leave a comment and let me know, what do you think of when you hear the word retreat? What does the word retreat mean to you? Well, let's go for the general definition of what a retreat is. A retreat is a noun, and it means a party or a getaway. I bet you can imagine someone drinking a fruity drink on a beach or having a spa day. Those are all different kinds of retreats. And I have hosted many live retreats, which are just like that, where it is a party or we rent some kind of beach house and we go swimming and we eat a bunch of pizza and we stay up late watching movies and whatever. That's one way to retreat. So retreat is a noun. It's a getaway. It's a party. And we are definitely having a party, and we're definitely getting away from our typical life today. But retreat is also a verb. It's also a verb. So retreat means to step back from whatever is causing you frustration, whatever is overwhelming, whatever is frightening in your life. Retreat really means to step back. You might think of like soldiers on a battlefield, and when things aren't going well, they retreat. They step back. They get away from whatever is frightening and overwhelming. It's a chance to regroup. It's a chance to refresh. It's a chance to come back to yourself and find solutions. So during the Life Editor Weekend virtual retreat, we are having a retreat. Yes, we are having a party, but we are also going to retreat. We are going to step back from our typical life, our typical frustrations. We're going to work together. We're going to find some solutions, and we're going to feel refreshed and recharged at the end of this retreat. So here's the thing. During Life Editor Weekend, there is no work. There is no chores. There's no obligations right now. And if you haven't created that boundary for yourself, we're going to talk about boundaries in a little while. But if you haven't created that boundary for yourself so you can be here and be live and be focused on this retreat, please do so now. Pause the video, go make sure you have all of the boundaries, close the doors, send the kids to the neighbors, whatever you got to do so that you can focus today. Because this is your time. This is your time. We are working on you today. It's all about you today. So Marie France says, it's a way for me to recharge. That's exactly what a retreat is. It's a way for you to recharge. Come back to yourself. Be like, oh, I'm just burned out and worn out from the world. I need a retreat for me. Joelle, hey, thanks for being here. Woohoo. Any of you people who are just popping in right now, go ahead and leave a comment and let me know where you are watching from. All right, so I do like to start off talking about the different terms for retreat. It is a party. We're going to have a retreat. We are here to party and get away, but also we are here to retreat. We're going to step back. We're going to regroup. We're going to refresh. We are distancing ourselves from the things that are agitating us. All right, time to open your workbook. And one of the first pages in the workbook is about recapping your year. So You guys should have this page in your workbook. We talk about successes and challenges. That's the little box I want you to look at. If you don't have your workbook printed out right now, just use a notebook or planner or whatever you've got in front of you. So before we can dive into the retreat, let's look back on 2021 and see what we've accomplished, what maybe we didn't accomplish, and how we're feeling right now. Let's take an inventory of the year. So what I want you to do is to write down your successes. What were your successes from 2021 in any area of your life? In your business, in your career, with your family, with your kids, with your money, with your relationships, anything. What were your successes? So think about what I am most proud of. What are you most proud of from this year? Also think about what was your most kick-ass moment. So maybe there was this shining moment in your year where you just thought, oh, yes, I was my best self at that moment. And also think about what you want more of. What types of things did you have this year? And you're like, yep, I want more of that next year. I want more love. I want more money. I want more success, whatever it is. So write that all down in this first spot where we're talking about your successes. What are you proud of? What was your most kick-ass moment? What do you want more of? Donna, hi. Yes, thank you for stopping by. Yeah, go ahead, pop in and out. That's the great thing about doing a virtual retreat. You can come in and out as it's convenient for you. These videos are going to be up all weekend, so you can come back and enjoy the videos all weekend long. You can pause, you can double time it, you can go through as quickly or as slowly as you want. So thanks so much for showing up, Donna. I'm glad you're here. And for those of you who are popping in, if you like this video and leave a comment, you are entered into a giveaway to win my Life Editing for Beginners program. So we have a different giveaway for every session, so make sure you're liking and leaving a comment. Okay, does anyone want to share your successes? You can leave a comment below and let me know, what are you most proud of? What do you want more of in 2022? What was your most kick-ass moment from this year? So I can tell you a little bit about me. So I'm proud of a few things this year, actually a lot of things. I was able to relaunch my Life Editor Academy Mastermind group, which was put on pause for 2020 because of the pandemic. But I was able to relaunch it this year and it was wonderful. It was so great. I'm going to give you more information about the Academy later on. But I was really proud to bring back the program in a virtual way so that it's more accessible to people. We're able to have more international folks joining because it is virtual and it's a lot less expensive. So that was really, really cool to be able to bring back the Academy this year. That was something I was very proud of. My most kick-ass moment might have been in June when I reached 10 years, my 10-year anniversary as a life coach. That's just, it blows my mind every time I think about it, that I have been running my successful life coaching business for 10 years now. Holy moly. Like I look back at some of my old videos and my old blog posts and I'm just like, wow, I have come so far. So that was a really, really big kick-ass moment for me that yes, I made it to 10 years as a life coach, running my own business. And I can't even tell you how many friends and colleagues that I've had who've started their businesses and closed their businesses. So I feel like a bit of a unicorn out here that I've been able to sustain my business for 10 years. So I must be doing something right. And I'm going to give you some more advice about how to run your own successful business later on in the retreat. So yes, it is awesome. Thank you. 10 years as a life coach. It's pretty amazing. Time really does fly, Donna. Thank you. Oh, Marie France, let's talk about your successes. Launched your new website. Woo! Became a certified life book leader and a certified professional organizer and did a lot of decluttering. Yes. I feel you. So which one are you most proud of? Is it your business stuff or the decluttering? I think they're probably pretty amazing. You probably got some pretty good results from both of them. Oh, I'm so proud of you. Way to go. I've noticed a lot of people, especially my clients, had a really hard 2020. Like, well, who didn't have a hard 2020? But we've really rebounded in 2021. I've explained this to you guys before that in 2020, I lost a third of my income. And that's because I wasn't able to have live in-person retreats anymore. But I was able to rebound in 2021, absolutely, and make up for that income and then some. And part of doing these virtual retreats and having my virtual Life Editor Academy mastermind group has really, really helped out. I think all of us had to learn how to pivot this year and come up with creative solutions. And we're going to do more of that during today's retreat. So yeah, tough call. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes when I declutter my house and I clean out my junk drawers and stuff, I feel like I can take on the world. I feel like that's my biggest accomplishment. All right. So for those of you who are joining us, we just built in our successes from the past year. What are you proud of? What was your most kick-ass moment? What do you want more of? What do you want more of? So for me, I totally want more interacting with my clients, even though I might not be able to have in-person retreats, but I still want to interact with my clients. I want more of that. More money. Who doesn't want more money? More time, more fun stuff, more happiness. We all want that. Okay. As your coach, we got to look at the tough stuff too. You know where we're going with this. Next part. Challenges. Ugh. What were the challenges that you were facing in 2021? What was difficult? So write down all of the challenges you faced this year. Maybe it had to do with health or your money or debt or your business or your relationships or anything at all. What challenges did you face this year? I want you to also write down things that didn't serve you. So what didn't serve your higher good? What didn't support you this year? And maybe it was your job. Maybe your job just really let you down. It was not supporting you this year. Or maybe you had a toxic relationship or a bad friendship or something like that, and that was not supporting you. Or, not naming names, some of us gained a little quarantine weight, didn't we? Yeah, I think a few of us did. And maybe your food choices didn't support you. And maybe that was something that was just really challenging this year, is dealing with all the emotions of the pandemic and things changing and having to cope. And maybe that kind of messed up your health for a while. Certainly happened to me. And then finally, I want you to think of, what do you want less of? So what was going on in 2021 that you're like, woof, I need less of that? Maybe less stress, maybe less of a certain person. I don't know. Maybe less debt, maybe less struggle or confusion. Yeah, write all of that stuff down. So write down your challenges. What were your challenges for this year? And I know sometimes it's hard to think about, like, oh, I don't want to think about what was wrong. I want to just focus on the future. But when we look at what was wrong, it actually helps us make a plan for where we're going in the future. If we know we don't want this stress, we know we don't want this debt, we know we don't want this struggle for our business or whatever it might be, that helps us find a nice path going forward. It helps us choose what we do want. And sometimes it's a lot easier to name all of the things we don't want, and then only then we can see, okay, now I know what I want. Sometimes it's hard picking out what you want until you look at some of the bad stuff. Yep, 100%. Debt. Who else is dealing with debt? We're going to take care of that this year, right? 2022, that's the year to be debt-free, right? Right? The dog. No, your dog gained quarantine weight also. My dog did too. I think we were all kind of eating our feelings a little bit this year. Yes, my dog gained weight, and my dog had surgery a week ago, and when we took her in to be weighed, they told us that your dog is fat. My dog is fat. I made my dog fat during quarantine. So yeah, that's something to fix in 2022. Yep, debt. I think almost everyone I talk to has some kind of debt. It's the snacks. She snacks with me. Yes, I believe it. I believe it. My dog likes to snack and lay on the couch too. That's okay. That's okay. We're being honest with ourselves. These are the things that we're challenging. These are the things we're dealing with. And we're going to move on. We're going to pick a new path. We're going to edit our lives little by little. And we're going to make a new vision for ourselves. Okay. So if you need to pause the video, do your successes and challenges. It's really important going forward. All right. So the next little blocks on here, as you see, are all for my life editing process. For those of you who are brand new, I am a former book editor turned life coach. And I created a different form of life coaching that combines my editorial past plus my coaching present. So the thing was, I started my life coaching business 10 years ago after I left 10 years of book editing. And I was a medical textbook editor. And I know that sounds really, really stuffy and boring, but I really loved it for a long, long time. It's what I went to school for. I went to school for healthcare publishing. And so I was editing medical textbooks and articles and podcasts and stuff like that for some pretty big healthcare medical associations in the US. And you would have never, well, okay, take it back. One of my books you might have seen like in the bookstores, but most of them were textbooks. So they're books that your doctor would have used in med school. I was editing those. So I did that for many, many years. And it got to that point where I burned out from medical textbook editing. I was totally over healthcare. I couldn't keep reading about death and disease, and it just really, really affected my personality. It affected how I felt about the world. Wasn't feeling very hopeful. It just felt like, I can't keep doing this day after day. So I knew I had to get out of healthcare. And honestly, I hear that's really common, that a lot of healthcare professionals or medical professionals, you get to the point where you're like, I can't deal with death every day. I need to get out of here. So did I, even as a medical textbook editor. So at that time, this was in 2011, a million years ago, I had a mildly successful advice blog. And I say mildly successful because I had like 5 people who were reading my blog. If you go back to my archives on my website, you can see some of those really, really old posts. But yeah, I was giving out advice. I was talking about procrastination. I was talking about self-care, all of that good stuff. And it was a lot more lighthearted and fun. And I was finding myself by having this advice blog. And then over time, I noticed that other people I was following, other life coaches who had their own blogs and their own websites, they were giving out, or they were talking about the same information that I was talking about, but they were getting paid for it. Yes, ding, a light bulb went off over my head, and I realized, I could get paid to do this too. I could get paid to give advice and lift people up and help people reach their goals. So that's how my business was born. And if you guys remember, when I started coaching 10 years ago, it was super vague. I didn't really know what I was doing. I was like, live your dreams. And it was just like very weird coach speak. And I wasn't getting a lot of clients, but I was trucking along. I was doing what I could. And then I realized when I was working with my clients, the very few clients that I had, I was helping them transform their lives the same way I used to transform books and articles with editing. And it seemed to make sense in my brain that I could take my book editing past and I could combine it with my life editing current career. And maybe that sounds a little weird, like comparing my clients to books. Like, you're not editing a manuscript, you're helping someone live their life. But it made total sense to me. And the moment that I rebranded as the life editor, everything changed. Everything changed like almost overnight, because finally my followers, my readers, my clients felt like I was speaking right to them. They finally got it. And I finally got it too, that if you're looking for some kind of editorial, analytical, systematic process, you like step by step by step by step, you're type A, you're high strung, you're a little anal, let's be honest here, then you are perfect for life editing. And I like to say that I'm a type A life coach. If I have to absolutely name it, I'm a productivity coach. It's what I do. I help people get from point A to point B quickly as possible without the burnout. And I use life editing to do that. So I came up with a 5-step framework that helps you edit your life the same way a book editor edits a manuscript. And you guys have seen the image. It's a cyclical process, and you go through it over and over and over again. And there really is no end to life editing. You are always editing your life because your life is always changing. And some days our days feel really jumbled. There doesn't seem to be a flow. We're just kind of stopping and starting and stopping and starting. Things aren't like moving the way that we want them to. And that's where just a little bit of life editing can tweak your life, it can change it and make it so, so much better. The thing that makes life editing different from other forms of life coaching is that we are not doing a total life makeover. We are not like taking your current life and crumbling it up and throwing it in the trash. No, we're using what we got. We're editing our lives. We're using what we have right now. We're not trying to become a whole new you or whatever the catchphrase of the day is. You're editing your life. You're not throwing your old life away and becoming a completely different person. Because that's the thing, we have to exist in the world. We have to exist with who we are as people and our current circumstances. And that's going to be different from everyone else. So I can't say you can just wipe your whole life clean and start over, because you can't. And you know that too. There is no total makeover here. So if you're looking for a magic wand or a magic pill, it's not here. Sorry, go watch another retreat. But if you're interested in making tiny little edits, tiny little changes to inch your way forward and get closer to your goals, that's exactly what life editing does. All right, so now make sure you got your workbook out. I'm going to go through the 5 steps of the life editing process. Consider this your crash course. And if you do want more in-depth knowledge about life editing and many, many more strategies for implementing the life editing process, then you're going to want to like this video and leave a comment, because you'll be entered to win the giveaway for my Life Editing for Beginners program. Okay, so let's start with step 1, which is create a foundation. Now, when a book editor, which I used to be for 10 years, when a book editor is sitting at her desk and new manuscript comes in and it's plopped down on her desk and it's bad, it's not good. Like, if you can imagine, most of the manuscripts that I got as a book editor were written by doctors. Doctors aren't known for being the best writers. Some of it was really, really rough. But what could I do? I couldn't just take the manuscript and throw it in the trash and be like, this is terrible. You don't do that with your life either. No, I had to use what I was given. So my first step as a book editor was to find the foundation, to find the things in the manuscript that were working already, that were good enough already. And there was always something, even if it was teeny tiny, even if it was just a little bit, there was always something in the manuscript that was good, even if it was just the idea or the outline. So it's the same for your life. Your foundation are the things in your life that are working right now without you having to struggle or push. Just like a foundation of a house, they hold you upright. They keep you stable. So I know that some of you are really struggling right now, and you might think there is absolutely nothing working in my life right now. There really is. And it could be as simple as thinking that, well, you have the eyes to watch this, you're breathing, you have internet to see this, you have probably a roof over your head right now. So there are many things in your life that are supporting you. Those are your foundational elements. Why do we start by creating a foundation? Well, it goes back to gratitude. And when you focus on the things that you have right now, the things that are supporting you right now, it gives you energy to keep going. Have you ever tried to make changes in your life and you always focus on the gap? Like, you're here and you want to be up here, and there's this gap. There's this huge gap from where you are now and where you want to be. And if you only focus on where you want to be and the stuff that you want to have, the sports car you don't have, the business you don't have, the relationship you don't have, the money you don't have, you are never going to feel satisfied, and you're going to feel super depressed before you've even taken one single step. Instead, if you focus on your foundation and you acknowledge the good things that are right in front of you right now, it gives you energy. Like, I do have friends. I do have family. I've got my health. I got internet. I can do this. I'm breathing. I've got my dog. Like, there are so many wonderful, beautiful blessings in your life right now supporting you. And I want you to lean on those things and build up your support network, build up your foundation, because it's the only way you can move forward. Because when things get tough, and things always get tough, you are definitely going to face obstacles as you're editing your life. You can always come back to your foundation, come back to your accountability partners, come back to your coach, come back to whatever it is that's supporting you, and lean on that when things get tough. Okay, so let's talk about ways that you can create your foundation. So maybe one of the easiest ones is to have some kind of gratitude practice. So that might mean having a gratitude journal. And I'm going to show you the gratitude journal that I've been using all year long. I'll leave a link below, but this is a line a day gratitude journal where you just write one line a day, one thing that you're thankful for every single day. And I've been using it all year long. And this is actually a 5-year one. So next year I can keep using it. And I keep using it for many, many years. And it's really fun to look back over the days and see what I was grateful for that day. So maybe you have a gratitude journal, or maybe you have some kind of other gratitude practice, like a thank you jar, where you write down the things that you're thankful for on little slips of paper and you put it in a jar and then the jar fills up. Those are really fun. Maybe you text your best friend one thing that you're thankful for every single day. Or you could do some kind of gratitude meditation. Just sit with yourself and think of all of the things that are supporting you, all of the things that are good in your life before you do any of your work for the day. I definitely recommend starting your day with gratitude. So then no matter what happens during the day, you feel good, you feel supported. Joelle says, I wrote more challenges than successes. Yes, I think most people have more challenges than successes on their page. And that's okay. That's okay. We're going to move forward and make a new plan for 2022. And we're going to transform some of those challenges. And we're going to work more on how we can bring in the things that we want. And it's totally okay. And maybe some of you had a lot of challenges, but maybe they don't hold the same weight as the successes. Maybe you had some successes that meant more than 10 challenges or something like that. Or maybe it's the other way, and that's okay. We're all starting from where we are right now. That's okay. That's part of your foundation. You start with what you got right now, even if it's not perfect. Other ideas for creating your foundation. You can respect what you have. Respect your possessions, respect your house, clean your house, keep things in order, treat your clothes well. Don't just like throw them away the moment they get ripped. For those of you who have read the book, The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up, do I have it here? Yes, I do. Let me pull this up for you. Here we go. For those of you who have read The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up, there's a great section where author Marie Kondo is talking about how she says thank you to her purses and thank you to her clothes before she donates them. And I really want you to get in the habit of being appreciative and respectful of your possessions. Now, you don't have to say like, oh, thank you, pen, thank you, planner, but you might. I do. You can be goofy with it. You can have fun with it. But when you respect the things that you have, you'll realize you have more things supporting you than you thought. And your life won't feel so disposable. I notice people who might not have a lot, but their homes are impeccably clean. So respect what you got right now, or else what? I don't know. Your internet will go down, or you'll run out of clothes and have to spend more money, or something like that. So really, great way to build up your foundation is to respect the possessions and things that you have right now. One last little idea is to take a photo of what you're grateful for and share it with your friends and family every day, or post it on social media. I love seeing what people are grateful for on social media. All right, now it's your turn. In your workbook, right up here, we got a spot where you can write down 5 ways to create your foundation. So think about, how can you feel the support of all the things around you? Is that a gratitude practice? Is that a meditation practice? Is that getting back into whatever your religion or holy book is? Is that telling your spouse what you're grateful for every day? Is it telling the people around you that you love them? Is it cleaning your house, respecting your possessions? Maybe it's doing like one of those no-buy months or those no-buy years. So they actually use up what you have and you respect what you have right now, rather than always seeking out more new things. Leave a comment and let me know, what are your ideas for how you're going to build up your foundation this year? All right. Now, if you haven't guessed already, but I'm sure you have, we are going to be using these later. So if you're watching the replay, remember to write down your 5 edits for creating your foundation too, because when we get to the session where we're creating your 12-week plan, we're going to be using all of this. It all serves a purpose later. So please make sure you're doing this in order. Okay, so that is step 1 of the life editing process. Create a foundation. We start by building up our gratitude and feeling good about where we're at right now, because it's going to give us energy moving forward. Okay, step 2 is delete bad influences. This is everyone's favorite step, not mine. I'll tell you what mine is in a minute, but it's almost everyone's favorite step, because this is where you see real results. You can't add good things into your life until you delete the things that are holding you back. All of the people, situations, possessions, habits, things that are not adding value to your life. If they're not adding value to you, they're draining value from you. So to delete these bad influences, you got to do this first before you can add any good habits. All right, so here's how we're going to find your bad influences. So in your notebook, or like even on the back sheet here in your workbook, I want you to write down things that drain your energy. Things that drain your energy like that. The moment you're around them, you just like, ugh, I have no energy. Or you know that one friend that you hang out with them for an hour and then you like gotta go lie down. You're like, woof, that person really drained my energy. Or maybe it's a certain food that you eat. You eat that food and then you just feel gross all day long. So whatever things drain your energy. Then how about things that frustrate you? Things that make you mad. It could be things that don't quite work well, like a whole bunch of pens that are losing their ink, or your car that doesn't run well. Like, is it going to turn on today? I don't know. Other things that frustrate you, that one coworker that won't shut up, or anything else. So write down all the things that frustrate you, things that make your life difficult. So whatever things make your life difficult. And it could be like you're struggling to pay rent every month, or you've got this debt that you're dragging around and you're spending whatever, $1,000 paying debt every month when you could be using that for something else. What makes your life difficult? Maybe it's a certain relationship. Then also write down things that make you feel bad about yourself. Things that make you feel bad about yourself. So maybe there's a person in your life who's always nitpicking you, who's always making fun of your weight or making fun of your house or the way that you parent your kids or something. Someone who tries to make you feel bad about yourself. Or maybe it's scrolling through social media, through Instagram. Yeah. And after you do that for a few minutes or an hour, do you feel better about yourself? No, you probably feel like you don't live up to society standards or that you're failing in some way. How about writing down things that make you feel like your worst self? Things that make you feel like your worst self. I've shared this before, but I had a friend in high school and college, and every time I hung out with her, I would turn into the worst version of myself. I would be gossipy. I would be snarky. I would be rude. I would just be a total bitch. And every time I was done hanging out with her, I was like, oh, did I really act like that? Like she brought out the worst possible version of myself. So maybe there's something in your life that when you are doing it or when you're around that person or you're in that situation, the worst version of you comes out and you're embarrassed for yourself later and you just feel so ashamed. That's a bad influence. The last bad influence that I want you to write down is anything that you wish would just disappear. Ooh, yeah, that is a good indication that that thing is a bad influence. If you want it to just disappear, or like, my life would be so much better without blank, without this coworker, without this debt, without this bad relationship, without whatever, this thing. If you want it to just disappear and you're having daydreams of it just disappearing, then that's a good indication that it's a bad influence. So write down all of those bad influences, and you just wrote something that I like to call a not to-do list. Anything that you write down that is not your responsibility, that you don't need to take on, that you don't need to invite into your life, that is on your not to-do list. I know some of you are familiar with writing a not to-do list. It's something we also do in the Life Editing for Beginners program. Okay, so we're going to go into more about deleting bad influences in another session. But when you need to delete bad influences, you got two options. You can either delete the thing and remove it from your life, throw out the junk food and that toxic relationship, quit your job, whatever, or you can create a boundary around it. So a boundary contains you and keeps you safe and sound. It protects your time, money, energy, and well-being so that bad influence can't affect you. So that might be creating certain hours that you see someone, or you only meet somebody in public or something like that. Or you only have junk food once a month, something like that. You create some kind of boundary around it. Let me give you some examples, and then I want you to fill in, where is this box, with your bad influences and how you're going to delete them in 2022. So you could stop hanging around those bad friends. You know the ones, you know the ones. and clean up your home from top to bottom and get rid of anything that drains your energy, like those clothes that don't fit anymore. For some of you, you're going to quit your job. Scary, yeah, but I think those of you who need to quit your job, you've known for a long time. It's not me telling you need to quit your job. You've known for months, maybe years now, that you need to quit your job and maybe get a new job or start your own business. Or if you can't quit your job, you're creating some kind of boundary around that job. You're not letting it drain your energy. You're not doing that overtime anymore. You're not being around that nasty coworker. You might put limits on when and where you'll see certain people to protect your time and energy. Or you might throw out the junk food or whatever it is that's in your pantry and fridge that's not supporting you and your health goals, and whatever that might be for you. All right, so in your workbook, write down your 5 ways that you're going to delete your bad influences or create a boundary around them. And remember, we had another session coming up. We're going to talk more about boundaries in case that doesn't make sense. Then leave a comment below. And remember, when you like this video and you leave a comment, you are entered into the giveaway to win my Life Editing for Beginners program. Remember, we have a different giveaway for every session during the retreat. All right. So Marie France says, I started a 31-day photo gratitude challenge for December. I love that. Yes. I know a lot of people do some kind of photo challenge, either like on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, wherever it makes sense for you to share photos. And I love this idea where you have like a time limit. You do it every single day. So you're crossing off those days. You're not breaking the chain. And that's a great way to establish a gratitude habit. And what a great like memory afterwards, because then we have all those photos for the month. That's beautiful. I love that idea. All right, moving on to step 3 of the life editing process is add good habits and routines. So now that you've established your foundation, you created that foundation, you got something strong to stand on, you got your support network, and then you deleted those bad influences that were holding you back, you will notice, it's pretty dramatic, you will notice that you have much more time, space, and energy for all of those good things that you never had in your life, all those things that have been missing. So now you can do the things that you always wanted to do, but you never made time. You can find your ideal career. You can work on your health. You can have fun. And here's the thing. With life editing, there is a very specific way that I organize these steps. Well, of course, the steps of the life editing process follow how you would edit a manuscript. That's my whole shtick. You got it. So you have to go in that order. But the reason we do this too is because you can't add good habits before you delete the bad stuff that's holding you back. You might know people who create New Year's resolutions, or maybe it's you, and you create a New Year's resolution, like I'm going to run a mile every morning, or I'm going to find a new job and apply to 10 jobs a day, or something like that, or I'm going to find somebody to love, something like that. You have some kind of New Year's resolution, but most of us give up on that before February. And that's because we're trying to jump the steps. You're trying to add a good habit before you clean up the mess. So if you still have those bad influences in your life dragging you down, it doesn't matter what good habit you're trying to establish because the bad influences will mess you up. So I like to tell my clients that you can't paint on a dirty canvas. I have several clients who are artists, and when you're an artist, you buy your canvas. You guys know this. You got to clean the canvas really well because there might be dirt or specks of dust or scratches or whatever on your canvas. You got to clean the canvas first before you can add the paint. So that's why we delete before we add. Got it? All right. So when you're thinking about, well, what good habits do I want to add to my life? Think about your ideal self. And I know you have this vision in your mind of what your ideal self looks like. Now, again, this is not a total transformation. We're not throwing your life in the trash. It's the ideal version of you. So it's you times 10. It's not Oprah or Beyonce or whoever you're thinking about. It's you times 10. You, the ideal version of you. So what are you doing? Oh, and this might be a good thing to write down in your notebook or on the back of your workbook. So write down, when you're thinking about your ideal self, what are you doing? Where are you? That's an interesting one. I know some of you are going to be like, I have to move. Yeah, I definitely realized that a few times in my life where I'm like, this is not where I need to be. So maybe you're having that awakening that you actually need to move. Who's with you? And maybe it's not some of those toxic people. How do you feel? And what do you have in your ideal version of yourself that was missing, that's missing right now? So write down those things that are in your ideal version of yourself. Here are some examples of good habits that you can add. And I want you to add your good habits here in your workbook, in this block where we're saying add good habits edits. So thinking about your ideal self, how can you step into that life and act more like your ideal self? A great way is to choose a word of the year. I know many of you who are in the Life Editor Clubhouse, you have watched my video class about choosing a word for a year. And that's where you pick a word or a phrase that kind of guides you for the entire year. So my word for 2021 was better. Better. I just wanted to be better than 2020. Maybe that's like a low threshold or a low bar for the year, but it worked for me. I wasn't trying to, I don't know, completely transform my business. I was just trying to do better than 2020. And it definitely worked. It definitely worked for me this year. I have a word for my life in addition to a different word of the year every year. So the word for my life is kindness. So whenever I'm going about my day, I think, is this choice kind? Am I doing something that's kind? And that affects every part of my life, how I interact with my clients, how I interact with other people, the clothes that I buy or don't buy. It even affects the food that I eat or don't eat. You guys know I'm a vegan. So kindness is a word that kind of guides my whole life. Leave a comment and let me know, do you have a word for the year? That would be something wonderful to choose for 2022. And then whenever you have a decision to make, you just go back to your word. How would I do this thing if I was following my word? You could also use the habit loop to add new habits. And we're going to talk about the habit loop in another session, so stay tuned. You could try mini habits, which are also known as tiny habits or atomic habits or tiny edits. It's all the same shtick. You just take something that is too small to fail, a tiny little thing, something that takes you 5 minutes to do, and you add that to your routine rather than trying to make a big sweeping change. You could get dressed every day. I'm not naming names, but I know some of you are not dressed right now. I know you're still in your jammies. One of my favorite and most popular blog posts on my blog is why I never work in my pajamas. And I noticed that when I dress up, put makeup on and do it, even if it's just for me, even if I'm not seeing any clients, I do better work. I step into that ideal version of myself. So yeah, excellent word. Yes. Hey, Kathy. So good to see you. Yeah. So think about that. What word could guide you for 2022? That's a really low pressure way to add good habits, is just to follow your word. Marie France says, my word for 2021 was integrity. Ooh, I like that. That's very good. Yes. Okay. So write down your add good habits, edits that you want to make. We're plowing right along. Moving on to step 4, rearrange everything into a perfect flow. So when a book editor is looking at a manuscript, sometimes you got to move things around, move the paragraphs around, move the ideas around before it starts to flow, before it starts to make sense. And it's the same for your life. Sometimes you have all the components that you need. You have your new habits, you have your new way of thinking, but things aren't flowing. And sometimes you just have to rearrange your time and move things around to get to that flow. And I will say, this is my favorite step. This is my favorite step of life editing because it has to do with time management. And this is where you're going to be saving your minutes, using your minutes wisely, getting stuff done faster, and it feels so good. All right, so write down or think about, what situations do you find yourself wasting time? What times do you find yourself scrolling through social media for hours and hours and you lose track of time, but you never got anything done? What activities cause you to lose time when you should be doing something else? Like maybe in the morning, you spend too much time doing something instead of actually doing the work that leads you to your goals. I'm guilty of this. Sometimes I wake up in the morning and I'm like, I'm just going to read for a little while. And I pick up a book and I just start reading. 2 hours later into my day, I'm like, I probably should have been doing my work instead of just reading. And then which projects or tasks take longer than expected? And maybe a lot of times they take longer than expected because you are putting them off and you're delaying them and you're not actually diving into them. I got some examples of ways that you can rearrange things in your day to get that perfect flow. So you can bookend your day. You guys know what it means to bookend? We've got a great class in the clubhouse where we talk about bookending. And that's where you put an activity in the morning and an activity in the afternoon, and they bookend your day. Just like how bookends keep things stable and upright and stop them from falling over on your shelf, on your bookshelf. If you bookend your day, you might have like some kind of aerobic exercise in the morning and then yoga at night. Or you might do some kind of meditation in the morning and then have a good conversation at night or something like that. In some way, you balance your day by doing something positive for yourself in the morning and something positive for yourself at night. You might rearrange certain things, like move your workout time from the morning to the evening, or vice versa. You could do Pomodoro sprints, which is where you set a timer for 25 minutes. You do 25 minutes of work, take a 5-minute break, 25 minutes of work, 5-minute break. And then you can get through stuff a lot faster than if you weren't racing the clock. You can move all of your chores and errands to one day. So maybe like Friday is your errand day. And if you got to go out of the house, you put it on there. So leave a comment and let me know, how are you rearranging your time and moving things around to get to that perfect flow? And make sure you write them here in your workbook. Write down how you're going to rearrange things in your life. All right, final step of the life editing process is to make white space for personal self-care. This is step number 5, is to make white space for personal self-care. And white space in book editing is literally the white space on a printed page. It's where there's no pictures, no text, and it's usually around the margins. So white space in life editing is where you give yourself a chance to rest, relax, and recharge. And it's self-care for you to feel good physically, emotionally, and spiritually in every way. So I've got some quick examples of self-care. You can read or do some kind of hobby that maybe you've been neglecting. Again, you can bookend your day with self-care activities, like maybe walking in the morning, yoga at night, something like that. You can give yourself a treats and rewards schedule so that you're always working towards something fun. You're not just plowing through your day. You could have a meaningful conversation with someone. That's a great way to add white space. And you could take 2 days off per week, whether that's the weekend or 2 other days off a week. I highly recommend this to my clients, taking at least 2 days off per week. Sorry, we're running out of time, so we got to get through this. So make sure you write down your white space edits or self-care. How are you going to do self-care in 2022, and write those down in your workbook? I will say that some people wonder, why is self-care the last step of the life editing process? Even though you go through it many times, it's traditionally the last step. And that's because most people, when they start to make changes, they don't even have like the clarity or the time to focus on self-care until they get some of these other things under their belt, and until they focus on their foundation, until they delete those bad influences, until they add the good habits. It's really hard to focus on self-care. Also, you don't want to reward yourself until you do the work. Some people will be like, oh, I'm going to read for 2 hours. I'm going to scroll through social media for an hour to reward myself. That's my self-care. But you didn't actually earn it. Yeah, you're just kind of wasting time with your self-care. All right. So those are the 5 steps of the life editing process. Remember to pause the video, come back to it, and fill out your workbook so that you have all of these different ways that you can edit your life and add these life editing elements into your plan. We're going to go through this again when we get to the last session today. All right. Before we wrap up this, I do want to say that this is the kickoff launch party for my Life Editor Academy Mastermind group. And I'm going to share a quick video with you so you can get a clue about what is my Life Editor Academy Mastermind group. So hang on. All right, we're back. So real quick, Life Editor Academy is now open. You can now apply for Life Editor Academy, which is my mastermind group. I'll leave the link right here, and it's also in the description. So it's bit.ly/LEA group. So Life Editor Academy is a 5-month mastermind group for ambitious women who are ready to push past all the obstacles in their way and reach their great big goals. So from health to home, finances to fitness to business to busyness, we tackle it all. And you can now apply for Life Editor Academy. Life Editor Weekend is actually our kickoff celebration for the Academy. So click the link below and get all the details about the Academy. But I will be filling you in with more details during the rest of this retreat. All right. Thank you so much for being here during this session where we talked about the life editing process. Remember to fill out your workbook with your 5 steps or your 5 next action steps for each step of the life editing process. And if you like this video and leave a comment, you'll be entered into the giveaway to win my Life Editing for Beginners program. Remember, we have a different giveaway for every session of the retreat. All right, Life Editors, thank you so much for being here. I'll see you in the next session. Bye.